Hey y'all, welcome to Pleiadian Point of View. I'm Peyton, and I'm a Pleiadian channel and starseed coach. So in today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to navigate some of those things in your life that might be going sideways on you. One of the things that I am hearing from almost everyone I'm talking to is that they are seeing a lot of explosions in their life right now. So this may mean that you are seeing negative manifestations popping up for yourself. A lot of people are having issues with the body. Others are seeing relationships and friendships crash and burn around them. But it seems like no matter where you look, people are going through it. So the Pleiadians wanted to chat with us today about the energetics of what is going on. But before we jump into today's topic, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. So as we are going through this period of extremely intense energies on the planet, and as you all know by now, this is only going to continue, we're noticing a couple of things happening in response to these energies. Now, the Pleiadians always like to explain this to us in the context of the separation of timelines. We all know that we have heard them talking to us about this for about 5 years now, and we are in the thick of it. So we are seeing very dramatically in the world around us the separation of ascending timelines and what we sometimes refer to as descending timelines. Basically, humanity is going in two different directions, and there are infinite choices within each of those directions, but we're making very different fundamental choices as a human species as to what our future is going to hold. So one of the ways that this split of timelines happens is the energies on the planet start to get stronger. We start to get a lot more solar energy bringing in a lot of light energy, a lot of high frequency energy. And what that is going to do for all of us, it's going to bring to the surface anything that is not integrated within us. Holding on to any negative memories or emotions, any limiting beliefs still rumbling around in there, those are going to come shooting to the surface. Now, one of the ways this happens for a lot of us, just the way it shows up in life, is things in our life seem to be going wrong. Now, the P's always like to help us reframe this when we see this happening. They bring us back to the energetics of what is happening. Because once you understand that everything is energy, you take back control of the process. What is happening as the energies of the planet are getting stronger and stronger is we are seeing anything in our life being pulled away from us if it's not a match to our future timeline. So if we are holding on to relationships that are not in integrity, if one party is not showing up in integrity, if there are things happening that are not part of the collective agreement within the relationship, if people do not have the same plans for where they are headed in a situation, all of these little energetic imbalances are going to pop to the surface. So what happens is we start to see things going sideways in our life. Negative manifestations, issues with the physical body, issues with relationships, you name it, it can show up any way. But what is happening is these energies are showing us what is not in alignment with us. And the interesting thing, when we start to focus on the energy of the situation, we can resolve these things much more easily. Because as humans, the way we tend to react when things start going wrong, we start to get really mental. So we start to think about it obsessively. We start to play stories of it over and over again in our mind. We start to get really mad at everyone else involved. Y'all know, you've been there. These are all ways that 3D humans would deal with an energetic imbalance. But guess what, y'all? We're not 3D humans anymore. So what is happening is the universe is separating us from anything that is not in alignment. But as the Pleiadians always like to remind us, especially when things get a little choppy, is that everything is energy. So when we are looking around at our lives or even at the world around us, and we're seeing things that are getting us really agitated. So if you are on social media or you are watching news stories or seeing things come across your feed that are making you angry or putting you in fear, what this is showing you is where you've got stuff going on in your energy field, where you have energy that's needing to be integrated. Because the P's always like to bring us back to the energetics. This is how we solve problems, is by working the energy first. So if you are someone who's noticing things kind of going sideways on you right now, one of the best questions you can stop and ask yourself is, what are you fighting in your life? What are you pushing against? It may be a negative manifestation. It might be something that you're seeing in the world that has upset you. But a great question is, where am I pushing against something in my life right now? Because what this is showing you, if you take a moment to analyze the energy, what you will see is where you are pushing against yourself. Because the P's always like to help us understand the energetic landscape, right? And what do they always tell us? They tell us that everything in our reality is our energy. So that means we created it. Now, does it mean we did that with our conscious mind? Because as we know, looking around at the world, there is so much that we would never ever create with our conscious mind, right? Who would want half of this stuff? Doesn't mean we didn't create it. So when we are pushing against things in our life or that we're seeing in the world around us, one of the great ways to move through this so that we can release this from our experience is to ask ourselves, what are we pushing against? All you have to do is get the general theme. Maybe you're seeing a lot of news stories and stories on social media that are just making you mad. Or maybe they're making you afraid, they're putting you in fear. Well, that is showing you where you have fear energy or anger that is trying to be integrated with you. Because again, if everything around you, including that story, that negative manifestation, is your energy, then that means you created it. So that means you can change it. So what we are being called to do in these energies is identify where we are still pushing against things. And a simple way to do that is just ask yourself, what are you feeling negative about? It could be something very personal to you. It could be something in the world around you. But if we are experiencing negative emotion about something, what does that tell us? It tells us we're in resistance, right? We are pushing against something. And because everything is you, that means anything that you are mad at or frightened of or just completely fed up with is a part of you. So when we start to look at everything going on around us as an invitation to rebalance our energy, we don't get so swept up in the story of what's happening. Because as we are pushing against anything in our life right now, especially when the planetary energies are as intense as they are right now, what happens is we are resisting our own energy. When we do that, we break off little pieces of our soul energy. We're fighting ourselves. We are rejecting a part of ourselves. So all of those little things that are going sideways, or maybe not so little things that are seeming to crumble or fall apart, or people disappointing you, this is all your energy trying to merge with you, trying to come back to you. It's raising its hand. It's showing you, hey, we have a problem here. And so what we want to be doing in these energies to move through them as smoothly as possible is figuring out where we can recollect our energy. So anything that you are fighting against, anything you're mad at, anything that's got your hair on fire is showing you where your soul is trying to integrate with you. And just when you think of that problem that has been bugging you for the past week and you put it in this context, you start to change how you feel about it. Because first of all, when we acknowledge that something is our energy, our creation, we take our power back. Things are much more scary when we think someone is doing something to us. But that can't really be true from a metaphysical perspective if everything is us, right? We are just fighting ourselves. So when we start to take our triggers and those things that are upsetting us and view it as our energy, which is trying to come back home, we can completely take the air out of that negative manifestation. All of a sudden, it becomes very doable. Well, this is just me. I created it. You don't have to be so frightened of those stories, right? Now, the mind is going to want to run away with you. It's going to want to blame someone else. The mind loves to do that. It's going to want to make someone else wrong or bad or not good enough. It's very important in these energies to stay out of the mind story, because the mind will do its thing and it will run away with you for as long as you let it. But when you bring yourself back to your knowingness, to your spiritual knowledge, that thing that has you so fired up is just part of you. Part of you trying to come home, because this incarnation is about integrating all of the parts of ourself. all of the parts of our soul that we have rejected over lifetimes, we have abandoned, we have betrayed parts of ourselves, we have hated ourselves, and this lifetime is about clearing the slate. Our soul is cleaning house. So all those little things that seem to be external problems is our higher self showing us where we've got some house cleaning to do. So if you take those things that are going sideways, those things that are crumbling and falling apart and making you feel bad about yourself, and you start to think about them as energy, everything is just energy. And it is your energy. We start to relax about those things. We get out of the mental spiral with them, and we start to use our energy tools. And y'all know how to do this. You've heard the P's talk about it 100 times. All you've got to do is pull that thing in your heart. No matter how uncomfortable it is, how yucky, how sticky, if you pull that thing in your heart and send it love, talking to it as if it is a part of you, because it is, what happens is you break down the negativity around that issue. And it was only you fighting with it that made it a problem in your life in the first place. So we have a very important opportunity in these energies because these energies, y'all, are merciless. There is no hiding from these energies. Anything we're holding on to that is out of alignment is going to be punching us in the face. It's just going to get stronger. If we ignore it, it is going to get bigger and louder. So the way we deal with this most easily, recognize that it is just you. Maybe a scary story. It may feel like it is out there or someone else. It's not. It is just a projection of your consciousness. So we take our power back when we pull that thing, that story, that memory, that relationship where the person is driving you nuts, pull it into our heart. Because once you do that, your heart is the energy purifier of your being. It is our connection point to 5D. It is how we merge and reconnect with our higher consciousness. Anytime you stick something in your heart, and we have talked about this in lots and lots of videos, what do? You purify the energy. You release it once and for all. So it doesn't keep popping up on you, because it's going to keep popping up louder and bigger until you deal with it. That is what the ascension process is. We got to deal with it. So this is how we do that. So the P's just wanted to kind of chat with us about this today because they see a lot of us kind of going through it and not really knowing how to deal with it. Getting sucked into the mind story, getting sucked into fighting with the outside world. And that's never how we release things. If we are getting amped up and in resistance, we are super gluing that thing to ourselves. The way we move through it is we've got to neutralize the energy. And you do that through your heart. So that is what the P's had for you in this week's POV. As always, don't forget, hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. And if you are wanting to learn all of these cool tools that the Pleiadians talk about in these videos, click the link in the description to work with me one-on-one. I'll see you soon. Bye, y'all.